Good afternoon, everybody. We are here in Camden, Arkansas, just right off the banks of Ouachita River, and many things happen here in Camden as well. A lot of history here. Of course, it's a long history about Camden, but most importantly, that happened here in Camden was the Trail of Tears. The Choctaws came along on the Trail of Tears along these banks right here of the river, come along on the south end of the river, and some come along on the other side of the river back over here. So the Choctaws came along in steamboats and ferries, come along on these banks that where we're at today. Now the Choctaws, as they was coming here, they landed on where we're at today, and some camped on the other side as well. You can see back in that area along some of those banks. So there was over close to 1,200 Choctaws that was here along the banks of Camden, of Ouachita or Ouachita River. And it's sad to hear about some of the deaths that happened. They were saying that there's quite a bit that happened here. I think over 20 deaths as soon as they landed on the banks of the Ouachita River. And some is already getting buried, so we don't know if they're buried here, possibly I would say on the banks of the river, or in the Camden cemetery of unknown. So we don't know, but we just know they camped here and right here on the Ouachita River. Equor Fabre, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right or not, but was a significant point of a travel for Choctaws starting late in the 1830s. The first Choctaws came in small numbers before the official government supervision was established and traveled on their own resources. They crossed the Ouachita at Nuns Ferry and proceeded on to Washington, Arkansas, and Fort Towson in Indian Territory. In early December 1831, the two parties of government Choctaws arrived here on the steamboats Cleopatra and Thelma. They had traveled from Vicksburg, Mississippi down to the Mississippi River and up to the Red River to the Black and Ouachita Rivers. They refused to continue until the rest of the Choctaws, who were going overland across the Louisiana swamps with horses and livestock of the groups, reached Equor Fabre. The government agent Samuel T. Cross and the parties of Equor Fabre learned that the overland group of Choctaws was stranded in the swamps. He went back to Louisiana on Thelma and brought the overland travelers up to Ouachita to the camping area of Equor Fabre, where we are at today. Due to brutal winter weather and delay of the overland group, these Choctaws camped here almost a month. So only along these banks and where we're at today, the Choctaws stayed here for at least a month or so before moving westward. During which times many have died and were buried here as well. Several thousand Choctaws passed through Equor Fabre before Choctaw removal ended. So even though there was a first party and a second party that came, George Harkins also came along with the Choctaws. So again, we're here right on the landing area where the Choctaws would camp out at, where I'm standing at, and on the other side of the river as well. We believe also there'd be some Choctaws that's buried somewhere along these banks or around the area where they camped out at, but we don't know. But we just know that the Choctaws came here along the steamboats, landed right here, came off, and it was in December. Okay, this is December and it's real cold, freezing time, and the ground's probably hard, and the river's probably hard to come upstream during that time from Vicksburg to here because of the brutal weather. And also there's many times that the Choctaws came here, landed here, and without any food or anything, so it was hard to bring food down this way through the weather along the river as well, because it was frozen, so it's hard to get anything. So even the military men didn't have any kind of thing to eat. But there was this one lady named Elizabeth Nunn who lived just right up here, not too far behind us. Her and her husband had a cabin site along this time, around the 1820s or so. But when her husband passed, she kept on going, and of course she knew the Choctaws was coming here, so she did her best to help them out with food and clothing and a few other things that they need and everything. So, but I think she may have a little help as well. But this was probably back in that time a smaller town, so they knew there was much going on here as well. So, but anyway, this is Camden, Arkansas. This is part of where the Trail of Tears, where they camped out at, right here in this area. And so, again, as we say in Choctaw, and we shall see you on the next. And maybe we'll go towards Washington, Arkansas. So, all right, hope you enjoy.